I got home just in time to see the last endings of this one, and so glad I did. Holy moly. Timberwolves Nuggets. No Murray, no Porter Jr., of course, no Dante, no Naz Reid for the suspensions. The T-Wolves once again, but it took a double overtime, beat Denver. 61 points from Jokic. It was a 140-139 final. Ant Edwards, 34 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. The ending on this one, Alexander Walker, he had 26. Most points by a player in a game this season is the 61 that Jokic had. I'll say his third 60-point triple-double in NBA history. That's that. But it's the ending. So let's just get to it. Russell Westbrook misses a layup. That would have put Denver up by 3. And then does that, the foul on the 3, and then the free throws is what seals it for Minnesota. So take me through it, Chandler. It's such a high and low turn.
Yeah, I mean, if you take this layup at this point of the game, up 1 with 10 seconds, you better make it is the only problem here. And obviously, he had a run out. You want time to go off the clock, but if he simply just dribbles this ball out, makes 2 free throws, the game is probably over. So that's tough. And then you capitalize it by fouling a shooter, which I thought honestly the foul happened after the clock, but the replay kind of showed it was 0.1, which this was a crazy game. This is one of the most exciting games of the year. But as a vet player, that was a mental lapse from Russ. You have to, if you're going to take that layup, like I said, you got to make it. Just dribble the ball out, play keep away, let the time expire, or get fouled and go make those 2 free throws. But don't make one mistake. It's just 2 mistakes by fouling the shooter. But that was also a great play by Anthony Edwards. He got in the paint, drew 2 defenders, and kicked it to the open man. But yeah, this was kind of a mental lapse by Russ here. But man, this was an awesome game.
Chandler, I'm gonna hit you with a term that we always used to hear in practice. You remember compound mistakes? Don't make compound mistakes. When you make compound mistakes, when you do one bonehead thing and you try to correct it and you just end up doing another bonehead thing, that was a compound mistake by Russell Westbrook. Time and score, obviously he's a vet, he's a winner. He knows how to go about business. But, last night, right there when you get that steal, you're supposed to dribble that clock out. You're supposed to pull it out and get fouled. He even threw the pass fast to get it back for this layup. He's supposed to know. He's supposed to have the awareness to know to keep this basketball, get fouled. And then, on the other end, you're still not matching up with anybody. Leave your guy wide open for 3, and then you foul him as well. So, just a lapse mentally for Russell Westbrook here. Cost Jokic a hell of a game, a hell of a night. And instead we're talking about him making these 2 mistakes. But, I'm sure these things will be corrected. But last night, a hell of a game and 2 bad mistakes back to back for Russ.
And what really was tough? It was like, oh wow, Denver figured out a way to beat them finally. Okay, we got ourselves a thing here, and it still didn't work out. What I love most about this one as well, besides the 61 from Jokic, is Anthony Edwards talking about it after the game. Here he is.
That might have been the best game of my life, that I've been a part of. Nikola Jokic, bro. Oh my God, he might be the best basketball player I've ever seen.
Oh wait, the end is besides myself. We cut that off because he does say besides me. I don't know if we're doing games of the year so far. This one had 21 lead changes, 13 ties. It was excitement from top to bottom. Chandler, would you say maybe we've got our game of the year here?
Yeah, I mean, this was awesome. And no Jamal Murray, too. Jokic obviously steps up. Aaron Gordon, who's been great offensively all year long, he steps up. And this really just came down to the final moments. And there was 4 ties even in second overtime alone. So this game was back and forth, back and forth. Guys continued to step up and make big shots, to make big plays. I think it was the game of the year. I think you got a little bit of everything from the stars. Anthony Edwards was fantastic. Jokic, obviously 61, 10, and 10 is the craziest stat line again. I'll say it again. This is going to be the best season to ever not win the MVP this year. The dude is just out of his mind. And I love the Anthony Edwards interviews afterwards. I love how, win or lose, again, I think he needs to control himself a little bit and have a balance of it. But comments like this are why people love him. The charismatic personality, the way he talks. It's just awesome to hear someone so honest and truthful in a post-game presser like Anthony Edwards saying that kind of stuff, and then making obviously a lighthearted joke besides himself. But yeah, this game was awesome. I hate that I hate for this for Russ, because again, he's better than this. There's no way he should have put himself in those 2 situations right there. But yeah, hell of a game, and I'm giving it the game of the year.
Game of the year.
I gotta come clean, guys. I was watching McDonald's All-American game last night. I hate that I didn't see it. I hate that I didn't see this live. So I gotta take you guys' word for it. But I was watching McDonald's All-American game.
I mean, Lou, I got home, second half was starting, and it was amazing. The Jokic part, by the way. And also the fact that Jokic, like, he played basically damn near all 3 quarters. Like, he had a little bit of time off in halftime, and then he never went back out again in both overtime. So the 61 career high, the usual triple double, we've just come to expect it at this point. I know the MVP race for many has been done and over with, but there are still some voters out there, and I know this for a fact, that have not quite yet made up their minds. They're sort of waiting till the end of the season. So I'm wondering, Lou, I'm gonna start with you because you've been from the beginning, SGA. Do you think that a game like this at this point in the season could sway a couple of those voters who are on the fence to go Jokic?
I honestly think it could. You can't ignore a 60-point triple double. Yeah, I don't care what your thoughts were yesterday. Listen, yesterday's price is not today's price. If you still haven't put your vote in, this will sway some people, and it should, rightfully so. Like, this is a crazy stat line. The only thing that fell short was a W in the win column. Other than that, like Anthony Edwards just mentioned, this is probably one of the best basketball players in the history of the game that we've ever seen. So to go out and do this and to have 30 more triple doubles to go with this one, that can possibly sway some people. I think the only thing that we have short attention spans, right? So if SGA goes out and does something similar, he probably won't put up a 60-point triple-double, but he'll probably have a 40 ball with some pretty good numbers as well that sways people back in his direction. I'm still going to stand firm and say it's SGA's. It's hard to not pay attention to a guy like that when he has a 14, 15 game lead on the guy that's doing these things. And so for that, you can't deny it, but at the end of the day, man, it's like wow, Jokic, like a 60-point triple double in double overtime. It's amazing to watch. I'm happy that I've lived long enough to see these things come into fruition, see players evolve and turn the game into what it is.
Yeah, and as a voter, I feel like it's your responsibility to wait till the season's over, to see it through, and to kind of let all 82 games play out. You obviously have an idea. I think that the team success and the team record of the Thunder is the biggest thing for them, right? They're 16 games above the Nuggets. I think that alone has been the difference maker in SGA winning it and Jokic. Now, if they were 1 or 2 games back and the Nuggets were fighting for the #1 seed, I think games like this really have a lot of impact. I think this also just stamps of the stamp of approval that this dude is the most dominant, best player in the NBA, regardless of whether he wins the MVP or not. You don't just see this often. 61, 10, and 10, the way he did it, the efficiency, getting everybody involved. I do think the MVP kind of race is over just because of the team success. Again, they're 63 and 12, like the Thunder.
Fair.
Like that's I don't care if this dude has 60, 10, and 10 again the next game. It's still there. That's not changing the team success of the Thunder. It's not changing SGA winning MVP. And another thing, I would hate to be the Pistons tonight because SGA's watching this last night and he knows he needs to clap back with something special tonight. So betting tip, take the overs on SGA's props tonight.
That's actually that's a really good idea.
Actually, tonight's game just turned into a must watch for me. Like, this is a game. We got to put eyes on this one now.
I kind of love that this is going to be the last several games will just be a head-to-head for them. And by the way, 53 minutes for Jokic last night. Nothing to sneeze at. I was impressed when I tuned in and he had 47. So the 61 for me was just like a bonus. Like, oh, we're going to keep going with this. It's time to pick apart some flaws if we could find some, Chandler. These two teams, obviously, these are must-see games between these two squads. And if you had to look at what the Wolves did, and maybe they struggled a little bit with some of the looks they got later on, especially when Ant was being guarded heavily, what do they do to adjust as we come into these playoffs?
Well, the Nuggets threw a lot of different things at him last night. You can see here, they trapped him at half court. They kind of took the ball out of their hands, and they made these other guys make shots, which sometimes on this lineup, they didn't have the best shooting out there. Mike Conley made some big ones. McDaniels made some big ones. Alexander Walker came up big, but teams are going to live with Julius Randle taking these long mid-range twos and long threes. They're going to need anybody besides Anthony Edwards. So I think as their team, they are going to find the ways to be successful on the offense end with Anthony Edwards kind of getting double teamed, getting blitzed, playing a 4-on-3 on that backside when they come out of that double. So there's going to be some adjustments. I don't know where Rudy Gobert fits in offensively when they do it like this. I mean, he's still a lob threat. He's still going to kind of clog up the paint, but I think you need shooting spaced around Anthony Edwards, especially if he's going to be getting guarded like this. And on the flip side, Denver, it's Jamal Murray was out last night too. So I think we take this loss with a grain of salt. It was a hell of a game, but their team was not complete. It's going to come down to defensive stops for the Nuggets, and that's always been kind of their thing.
And
well, the Timberwolves sweep it.
Yeah, I was about to say, but on the Timberwolves side, it got to be an adjustable Ant-Man. As you see, they're junking up the game, trying to get the ball out of his hands, but he's standing at nearly half court, and then he's getting trapped in the corners behind the three-point line. He's going to have to start playing free throw line extended. You know, if he catches that ball at the free throw line, it's impossible to send two guys at him when he's 15 feet away from the basket. I know he doesn't like to post up as much, but this is also another opportunity to add to your bag, start putting your back to the basket. If they're going to start trapping you on the block, then you got guys that can cut, you got guys that can slash, and it's going to make it difficult for those doubles to be effective as they were when you were at half court. So I'm sure he'll watch the film. They'll make those adjustments, and if they run into each other come playoff time, this is going to be one to watch.
Woo. Yeah, it is. By the way, again, they swept the series, Minnesota did. So we're just seeing that there's room for improvement. That's all. They obviously had a decent enough time with Denver.
I got a question, Lou. So the Nuggets are 1 game up on the Lakers. Jokic plays 53 minutes last night. Does he play tonight against the Spurs?
Absolutely, because it's go time. There's no time to rest. Yeah, none of that. No load management right now. This is important. Remember we were talking yesterday, Beadle, about the grind out days. These are the grind out days where he's for sure exhausted today, but it's so much on the table, you can't afford to take a day off. You got to go out there and you got to be the MVP candidate that we feel that you are. It's no time for load management, especially with seeding being so important at this moment. He got to go out there and play it. He got to go out there and put up these type of numbers to try to get them in a better position that they are in now.
Well, you hate to see the Spurs lose a game at this point. Anyways, Warriors at Grizzlies. As if there was not enough.